make my stuff.
Hello, and welcome back to a belated episode of How I Make My Stuff. I am this guy John, also known as That Guy John, and I'm sorry it's been so long. I'm not that sorry, I have a life. We're in a different program than usual. We're in a new environment, a new dimension, rather. In this silly little program that we have opened, we are going to be making backgrounds. But didn't you already make a video about backgrounds? And to that I respond with, yes, I did. But this is different, because today we are making backgrounds in 3D. A fun little fact, some of the backgrounds in my latest videos are in 3D. The background that you see my character in is in 3D, and the shading is done afterwards. And today I'm going to show you how I make my backgrounds using a free program called Blender. Now if you've never used Blender before, don't worry, it's actually way easier than it seems. I'll go ahead and leave a video on the basics of Blender in the description. By the way, this tutorial is made for those who have a basic understanding of Blender in mind. So if you've never used this program, go ahead and check out that video in the description. And after you've finished watching that video, go ahead and come back and then let's get into this. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is take our default cube and then stretch it out a little bit. So for simplicity's sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to make a little room. And in order for us to view this room, I'm going to go into edit mode here and delete this front face right here so that we can actually see into the scene here. Let's make that a little bigger and also a little wider. There we go. Now that we've scaled that up, let's go ahead and click this camera icon, or if you don't have that icon right there, you can just go to the view option here, camera, and active camera. There you go. And now that we're in our camera scene, what we're going to do is we're going to navigate our scene. How do we do that? Well, what we're going to do is click the view section up here, navigation, and walk navigation. Now, if you've ever played creative mode in Minecraft, it's basically the same thing. You just use WASD to move around the scene and boom, we're navigating the scene like we're flying in creative mode. And if you want to move around faster, all you have to do is press shift while you're navigating, and then you just move around quicker. It's that simple. And you press Q to go down and E to go up. So let's go ahead and position ourselves so that we are facing the scene right here. And boom, there we go. Okay, now we're going to deselect the camera and select our cube object. There we go. Now our scene's kind of looking a little raw. That's because we're in the shader editor. So let's go ahead and switch to our material preview, and we're going to give our scene a couple materials. So what I do in my 3D scenes is I go navigate to the material section here and switch the surface to emission. That tells the computer, hey, I want this to be one solid color. So you're going to treat it like a solid color, and that's what emission does. And because we switched it to emission, we now just got flashbanged. It's okay, we can add more materials. But for now, I'm just going to switch this to a solid pink, peachy pink color. There we go. And what we're going to do now is we're going to make a duplicate of this material and apply it to the other faces. So we can do that by navigating to this little drop-down arrow here. It says Material Specials, and then we're going to click Copy Material. Great, now our material has been copied. So let's go ahead and create a brand new material slot by clicking this plus icon. And we're going to navigate to the drop-down arrow and paste our new material there. Perfect. Now we have a copy of our Wall 1 material under a different name. Let's call this one Wall 2. I know, very creative. Let's go ahead and make this secondary material a little darker and a little more red. Perfect. Now with our second material selected, let's go ahead and enter edit mode. And while we're in edit mode, we're going to navigate up here and select face mode. That way we can select each individual face for the material. So let's go ahead and select each face here and then navigate to our Wall 2 material and click Assign. Perfect. Now our material has been applied to that. Let's go ahead and make a new material for the floor. Let's make this a little darker. Let's call this Floor. Go into edit mode and apply it there. Perfect. Okay, we have our room colored, but it's missing something. I know, let's add a window. Let's go into edit mode and add a loop cut right in the middle. I'm doing this by hitting Command R because I'm a Mac owner. Let's give this about 4 cuts. Maybe I'll give this room 2 windows. Once we select that, just go ahead and press enter and it will apply to the mesh. Let's do the same thing for this axis here. Let's make this 2 loop cuts, enter, and there we go. Now let's create a new material for the window. Paste that in there, make this a little more window colored, maybe a light blue, and select and assign. Beautiful. This is looking wonderful so far, but something's missing. What am I missing? I'm missing the line art. Yes, that is the icing on the cake. So let's get out of edit mode here and press Shift A to get to the add menu. And what we're going to do now is navigate to grease pencil and scene line art. And what that has done is it has added procedural line art directly from the camera view, but we can't see it. Why can't we see it? Oh, here we go. Let's navigate to the modifiers, drag the line radius up. Beautiful. There we go. Wait, why don't my windows have line art? Oh, wait, hang on. Let's navigate to the line art here, and under the line art properties, let's select edge types and check material borders. There we go. Now my windows have line art. Okay, this whole scene is looking really good so far. I bet if I spent more time on this, I could model a table or even some chairs, and then it would just be done and done. But John, what if I wanted to add line art to a specific section of the model? Do I need to make a separate material for that? No, you do not. So let's say you wanted to add a line right here. Don't know why you would, but let's say you did. What you can do is you can get out of face mode and select the edge that you want to add line art to. And then you press Control E and then mark Freestyle Edge. What that will do is that will turn the line selection green. And if we get out of edit mode, there we go. That selection has just been marked for line art. And that's how you add custom lines to selections. Am I forgetting anything? I am forgetting something. I don't want my line art to be black. How do I change the line art color? Well, you just go to the material slot here, go to your stroke, base color, and boom, white line art. What if you want red, or even green, or even blue? It's all up to you. And that is essentially how I make my 3D backgrounds. I think I'm going to cook with this a little more. Give me a second. Oh, sorry, I think I sneezed. Anyways, that is how I make my 3D backgrounds. If you guys have any questions or any suggestions for a future tutorial, then do not hesitate to leave a comment below. Thank you all so much for watching this tutorial, and have a wonderful day.